Hello everyone, Miss Carrie here from Miss Carrie's Creations, and today I'm going to share an autumn layout I created using a few of my favorite fall collections. Today I'm going to be using a mix of products from Bramble Fox's Autumn collection. I will be pairing the Autumn Glory title with the Leaves Galore perspectives and a new brick wall stencil. On this page, I'm going to be using some components from Hip Kit's Fall in Love collection. This has a wide range of hues in the designs, so it's going to go well with just about any autumn photos that you have. I have been putting together an album for our daughter, and this one was a photo of her that I just love. I will be using this title that says Autumn Glory. And I'm going to add some additional leaves that can be found in the shop because all of the colors go so well together. I've also grabbed a set of fall paper snips and this new brick wall stencil that I want to use. In most of my videos, I skip the portion where I'm trying to decide on the colors for the background. Today, I decided to share my thought process with you to help you when you're picking out patterns for your pages. I've selected two softer patterns that I'm considering for the background. One is a monochromatic leaf pattern. The other has more colors with subtle leaf images. Either of these could work, but since her dress has multiple colors of embroidery, I almost want to match that look, so I'm going to use the multicolor pattern. Off to the left, I'm going to be placing a vertical strip of paper. My first instinct was to use that orange color because it matches her dress, but when I place this off to the side, it feels like there is a lot of orange on this page and it starts to wash out the photo. The yellow is a lovely option because it brings out the golden tones in the photo and it matches the title perspective I've selected. But having these two leaf patterns on the page feels like it's a bit too much. When I bring in the blue, take a look how it makes that photo pop. It brings out the color in her eyes and contrasts beautifully with the color of the dress. Now, I do like the yellow, so I might end up using it behind the photo to bring out some of the golden colors. Before I start assembling the page, I want to add a little bit of brick pattern behind the photo. I want to use a white fluffy paste for this, which is going to give me a nice texture. I'm adding this brick pattern like I would add a piece of pattern paper behind a photo. I want it to act almost like a frame. It's going to break up some of the leaf pattern in the background and give me some nice contrast. As I add the paste, I am trying to make sure I add a little bit of texture. I'm not smoothing out the paste completely. I am creating some swirls and some partial bricks as I go. Now, at this point, I realized that I forgot to prep my paper with gesso. So there might be a little bit of warping as this dries. Once I remove the stencil, you can see that beautiful brick in the background. I love the size and spacing of this pattern. I'm going to set this aside to dry and then I'll start putting the page together. Off camera, I adhered the pattern papers in place and I added some stitching. I decided that I just wanted to add a tiny strip of yellow next to that blue strip to help form a visual triangle with the title that I'm going to add to the page. The photo itself was backed in two orange hues and I'm going to place this over the brick pattern I added. My paper did warp and wrinkle a bit as it dried, but once I start to add the layers, it will flatten out. I've gone ahead and cut some leaves from the matching cardstock collection, and I'm using the pattern side, which has some little dots on it. I like how this brings more patterns to the page. I'm going to be tucking these among some leaves and flowers in the collection. Some of the die cuts that I'm using have gold metallic lines on them, and I like how this brings out some of the gold in the photo. The title is going to be tucked to the right of the photo, and I'm going to layer it with some more leaf die cuts and leaf perspectives. I like creating titles with layers and additional phrases, and I like adding clusters around my designs. It helps to draw your eye to the title, and it makes it feel like it's part of the page, not just floating out there. As I was selecting the leaf elements for this page, I wanted to vary the sizes, shapes, and colors and create almost the look of leaves falling down in autumn. Within all of these flowers and die cuts, I'm going to be tucking in the little leaf perspectives. The layers behind here are really starting to come together. Adding different colors, textures, and materials is creating some really nice contrast and dimension on my page. As I added the title, I realized that that blue leaf is kind of sticking out like a sore thumb. I didn't have any other blue leaves on the page, but I do like how this blue color brings more of that color from the pattern strip and the photo. So I'm going to need to balance that out. I found some perspective leaves and a tag in some blue colors, and I'm going to add these to the design. As I added the blue colored leaves, I ended up bringing in more acrylic leaves because I like the contrast they bring to the page. I also started balancing out some of the leaf colors in the clusters. When I add multiple colors to a page, I like to make sure that each color is represented in the clusters. The only color not represented in the title is a reddish hue. Since she's wearing her cowboy hat in this photo, I decided to cut out a barn from the Cozy Autumn paper snips sheet. This is really easy to cut out and it fits onto the title perfectly. I'm going to go off camera and add a few more elements to this page, and then I'll share the finished layout. Off camera, I added some twine at the top of the tag and a little heart in the corner. I sprinkled some gold pearls throughout to bring in some more of that color to the page and added a few acrylic leaves near the title. I just love the dimension of the leaves among all those paper elements. Now I'm going to share a few close-ups so that you can see this page in a little more detail. On this design, I combined paper die cut leaves with some printed elements and scattered them across the page with acrylic shapes. I love how this flows across the page and gives the feeling of leaves coming down in autumn. Thank you for joining me as I created another scrapbook layout. I hope today's project inspired you to try something new. If you would like to see more of my creations, you can visit my channel or follow Ms. Carrie's Creations online. If you have any questions about this project or the supplies I listed below, feel free to leave me a comment. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.